What's your topic this evening?
My topic this evening is the International House of Pancake's new hire orientation.
Woo!
First off, I'd like to welcome you all to the IHOP family. I think it's important that you all feel like you don't just work here. When you show up here, you're not just a time card, you're a valued member of our family. First slide, please. Now, it's important to balance work and home. And we at IHOP take that very seriously because whether you are someone that celebrates Christmas or another made-up holiday, we think it's very important that you get the time off you need to spend with your loved ones, whether they be your parents, your children, or a bottle of Jack Daniels. Next slide, please. Now, there are many problems that face a breakfast craving community. There are things that might come between them and the deliciousness that is an IHOP. Your job is to help make sure that our restaurant is so enticing that they will brave war, plague, or even crappy internet fonts to get to our website, to get directions to our specific location because they know we have the least sticky menus in town. I don't know if you've been to the Denny's on 4th, but right. Next slide, please. Now, IHOP has been around for a long time. Most you don't realize IHOP was actually founded in 1897. It was actually then just the House of Pancakes. There was only one country at the time. We started out with a bit more rugged breakfast for the adventurer on the go. It was, you know, we had, the menu wasn't so much sorted by item, but by caliber. What we found is that while we did have a surprising number of crazy prospectors come through, we weren't getting the family crowd we wanted, and as I've said, family, very important to IHOP. Next slide, please. Now, there are, this is a tough one, but it's important to bring this up early now so I have problems with HR later. While we do, of course, love and tolerate everyone in our community, there are certain people that I wouldn't say we would discourage them from coming to our particular restaurant, but we wouldn't encourage them either. For instance, the type of pretentious folk that watch Downton Abbey unironically. We don't need that here. They only order coffee and they stay for 4 hours in a booth during a rush. Don't need it. So if you overhear someone talk about anything BBC or PBS related, make sure the coffee comes out cold, they'll leave faster. Secondly, and this one is tougher to tell, what you're going to be looking for here is for people with what you're going to do there, and this one, well, this is why we do party up and you have someone to train with for your first couple of weeks. You're looking for people that sit a certain way, a little more gingerly, if you will. People that will not take a seat at a table but demand a booth, despite that being a longer wait. We don't need that kind. Next slide, please. Look, there are a lot of companies that have a lot of different ways of trying to help build a sense of team among their coworkers. There are trust falls, there are non-trust falls, there are all kinds of things. You can walk on hot coals, you can do all kinds of things. What we feel here is, when in doubt, hug it out. Next slide, please. So, in the 60s, IHOP decided that one of the ways that we could broaden our international appeal is to become part of airline services. We would have any foreign domestic flights over 4 hours. You could get yourself some French toast, perhaps a Belgian waffle. What we found, though, is that while people did enjoy that over some kind of lukewarm chicken, they tended to have a problem with hacky comedians making jokes about airline food, and they'd forget how much they'd enjoyed their delicious IHOP. And by the time they got back home, they weren't willing to go there, and we were losing a lot of customers to Denny's. So, when you do go on a plane, it's appropriate to remark now how terrible the food is, because as you'll notice, no longer serving IHOP on airplanes. It gives us another leg up on the competition. Next slide, please. Now, I feel like most of you are familiar with the tale of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It's a tale we've all heard many times before. It is the tale of International House of Pancakes. When we started back in 1897 with our Bullets and Hash Brown program, we were relatively obscure. If you lived anywhere east of the Louisiana Purchase, you had no idea who we were. So we felt, as most people would in that kind of obscurity, that we were being oppressed by our wealthier, more edible competitors. And what we found out is, when you can't beat them, exploit them. And we made them feel bad. Because we rattled the shackles of our oppressive hash browns in the face of all those people eating things like toast or bacon or other food, and told them that it was unfair of them not to give us a chance. And now, as you'll notice, internationally famous House of Pancakes. Next slide, please. Now, you'll notice we did not do a lot of TV advertising, and here's why. You can't smell through your TV. And if there's one thing that sells people on the International House of Pancakes, it's that smell when you walk in the door. You've probably seen many people, they walk in expecting a delicious meal, and they pause like they run into a glass wall. That's them realizing just what they're in for, and they love it. Next slide, please. Now, they've asked me not to bring this up during the training because I think it's a little too advanced. Look, everyone's very well versed in the First and Second Punic War. I'm not going to waste your time. The Third Punic War, a little less well known, mostly because people can't find Czechoslovakia on a map anymore because it doesn't exist, or so they'd like you to believe. So here's the thing: when someone asks about the Third Punic War, your job is to act like you did not hear them and go refill a sugar container on the next table over. Next slide, please. We are looking at different uniform options to help drive sales, especially in this holiday season. In the holiday season, people are thinking home cooked, and they don't realize just how much easier and more delightful it can be if mom or dad or whoever does the majority of the cooking at home doesn't have to be stuck to that oven for an extra 10 hours a day. So if we make a few suggestions and changes in the dress code, we just ask you to kind of roll with it. We're going to give it a shot. We're going to try a few things out. Next slide, please.
Time!